Gerard Manley Hopkins, born on July 28, 1844, in Essex, England, was a Victorian poet renowned for his innovative use of language and meter. Raised in a devout Anglican family, Hopkins displayed early literary talent, winning numerous awards and scholarships during his academic years. The Hopkins family was intellectually refined, full of literature, music, and a deep appreciation for art. He attended Oxford University, where he distinguished himself as a scholar, but his deepening religious convictions led him to convert to Catholicism in 1866, much to the dismay of his family. To see God, to see the presence of God in the real, to be contemplative, was the overwhelming purpose of Hopkins' life. After completing his studies, Hopkins entered the Jesuit in 1868. This decision marked a significant turning point in his life, as he struggled to reconcile his poetic ambitions with the demands of his religious vocation. The rigid structure of Jesuit life posed a challenge to his artistic sensibilities, and he often grappled with feelings of isolation and spiritual conflict. His work, titled Spring and Fall to a Young Child, can be read as a product of these themes in his life, littered with biblical references. And because of its apparent simplicity and directness, Spring and Fall has attracted relatively little critical analysis. Hopkins, by analyzing the markers of the human community, invites readers to adopt a public, communal attitude toward that community. Hopkins' speaker draws us into a communal experience of mourning, challenging us to confront our own mortality and empathize with the universal human condition, as shown by Anal Wardi in their article dedicated to the show of empathy within this work. Hopkins' Spring and Fall first appeared in August 1893. It itself emerged from a rich tapestry of literary influences, including the works of Christina Rossetti, whose poetry of religious faith deeply inspired Hopkins. While pointing, however gently, to the child's misplaced emotion, the speaker's words also suggest the limited emotional capacity of adult hearts. Hopkins challenges us to consider the innocence of youth juxtaposed with the emotional attachment that often accompanies adulthood. With the character of Margaret, he illustrates the tender fragility of human empathy. Ah, as the heart grows older, sights much colder. The speaker's lamentation over the hardening of the heart echoes the romantic notion of preserving the purity of emotion amidst the harsh realities of life. Margaret's intuitive understanding of truth, despite her innocence, speaks to the timeless wisdom inherent in youthful perception. Spring and Fall, as I read it, engages the question of human empathy against the backdrop of the alienation and linguistic crisis which have preoccupied poets and thinkers since the Romantic period. Hopkins situates Spring and Fall within the context of the Romantic era's exploration of human emotion in connection to nature. He delves into the tension between the individual and the natural world, probing the depths of human consciousness in the face of mortality. It is Margaret alone, with her sense of her own mortality in a world devoid of compassion, that Margaret mourns for. Through Margaret's mourning for the falling leaves of Golden Grove, Hopkins unveils the isolating experience of confronting mortality in a world seemingly devoid of empathy. The speaker's recognition of this existential solitude underscores the universal struggle for connection and understanding. The speaker's melancholic position reflects the mistrust of language and the correlative obsession with truth which have symptomized the modern crisis of signification since the early Romantic period. Hopkins grapples with the limitations of language in capturing the infallible depths of human experience. The poem becomes a vessel for exploring the inherent paradoxes of communication and the quest for truth amidst the ambiguity of language. As we journey through the voices of Spring and Fall, we are confronted with the fleeting beauty of life, the inevitability of death, and the enduring power of empathy. In a world filled with noise and distraction, literature reminds us to pause, reflect, and engage with the deeper truths of our existence. For in the act of mourning, we affirm our shared humanity and the enduring importance of literature in illuminating the human experience. It is the blight man was born for. It is Margaret we all mourn for.